I just wanted to take a moment to talk with you all about what's been going on. And it's funny because I actually took a moment yesterday, and for some reason I couldn't upload the video. Um, and maybe it was meant to be because so much more would unfold, right? Um, I can even sit here and pretend like I'm okay, right? Like I'm just good. Um, and I'm not the one that is going through personally all the stuff that has been going through. I mean, I already knew racism existed, right? Like I'm a black man. I've have quite a few years under my belt. Uh, in this country, we come from a history that has been built off of racism in that manner, slavery, segregation, right? Um, and so the things that happen to black people is something I'm very well aware of and been very educated about from an early age, right? And even as a black man, I've been jumped. I've had jobs denied to me. Um, I've been pulled over for no reason, arrested for no reason. Um, I've sat at tables of white fathers who are upset that I was dating their daughters. Um, you know, I can go on, to be honest with you. And still, one of the things that I always grew up knowing, or grew up that my parents instilled in me, is that, you know, people are still people, right? Like my dad, if you ask him, he always said that he raised me and my brother to be men first who happened to be black, right? And I didn't really quite understand that. Um, I didn't really quite understand that at first. But there's so many messed up things going on right now. And everything happening with George Floyd by itself is so wrong. So wrong. It's what it is disgusting how wrong that is. The reason why everyone involved is not in jail, I don't know how there's a reason that everyone's not already in jail serving life. That's how I feel about that. But with that being said, like the events from yesterday, so I'm staying here in Center City, and the whole entire area of shops have destroyed. Was that justice? You had people who are peacefully petitioning against this horrendous, violent, disgusting act, petitioning in peace, and then turned around and had people make another horrible, violent, disgusting act by tearing your own city apart. You looted businesses of people who have been struggling through coronavirus, who's shutting down their business to just have enough money to keep their business running. And you stole everything. You ripped it apart. This entire city. You lit buildings on fire. You ended people's financial lives because you wanted to use it as a way to show that you're fed up and that you're angry. I'm fucking angry. I am so angry. But I don't turn that anger and use it against people who had nothing to do with anything. That is just horrendous, and it's not. That's a people issue, right? That's you not being able to be controlled. You want to help. You want to change things. You can petition. You could do that, but get involved, right? Elect officials. Get the bad ones out of office. Get the new ones in office that could be good and do some things. Get involved in your own town boards, right? You volunteer groups, city officials. There's so many different ways now to go about it, but we allow the ignorance and the petty anger of other people to do destructive things. If you feel like destroying the city and ripping down in all the cities too, not just here in Philly, but like in all the cities. If you felt like that was a good call, that breaking these businesses and lighting stuff on fire was the way to show your anger on the system now, please unfollow me. Please unfollow me. Because there's no way that violence and hate can be met with more violence and hate. Black people, we've been upset, we've been oppressed, we've gone through this. It's part of what it is, because it's part of our history and how it's been established. These are things that are going to take a long time to stop. Not saying that they're even acceptable now, but it's going to take a long time to erase generations of wretched DNA. It's going to take a long time. We do not help that situation by meeting it with the same kind of violence that people hide behind to say this is why they do what they do. I have friends who are cops. I have African American friends who are cops, who are out there. Not white friends who are cops. They're out there every day trying to protect, trying to serve. You want to show me videos of all the cops doing what they're doing during these petitions, right? Like, they're people. They're just people, right? They're. Don't get me wrong. There's some cops that they way abuse their power. They way abuse their power. And there's other cops that are there to serve and protect. That's what they do, right? And you get put in a situation now that you blindly look at everyone one way. Isn't that what we don't want? Right? We don't want people looking at us as the same ignorant, violent person as that person, but that's what we did. We put everybody under one cloud and just said, you're a cop, you're that problem. You're white, you're that problem. You're black, you're that problem. That's what we did. And that has to stop. On the lower level of that, how that stops, maybe next time you talk to somebody who has a problem with a minority or has a problem with the majority, whatever, stop them. Maybe don't accept that certain people act a certain way instead and just cut them out. Maybe educate your children so they really know the true education, not the stuff that they're not putting in the history books these days, but maybe educate them. Allow them to explore more of the world. Because there's no reason for anyone to be this ignorant. And there's no reason for everyone to be this hateful. What are you mad about? Right? Like, I'm mad about social injustice, absolutely. I am furious that a man can be killed and there's people still walking the street, still figuring out, should we arrest these guys or should we not? Everybody wants the person who killed George Floyd in jail, right? And everybody wants the people who watched him do it in jail, right? Meanwhile, we go ahead as a nation and lash out and violently destroy the city, put other people in danger, and we watched other people do it. We cannot meet violence. We cannot meet hate with more violence and more hate. Or this is what happens. An entire city, entire block city, businesses. I'm thinking about families. Look, I knew a long time being black is tough. It's hard. It's harder than a lot of people know. And I know that other people who are not black have hard stories, hard lives also. I do. I don't sweep that under the rug. But I knew for a long time that people will look at the color of my skin and make assumptions and act a certain way. And I never cared about it because I never looked at people by the color of their skin. I looked at people as people that happen to be whatever race they are. And I learned to love multiple cultures. And that's how I treat people. That's how I am. I treat people as people, right? Regardless of how they treat me, because they look at me being black, or regardless of how they treat me because of how they feel about my culture. I don't care. I don't use that anger. And I just don't have those people in my life. I cut them out. Or I keep them in very minimal spaces where I barely have to, deal with them. And then I deal with the other things. I am a father of a little girl who is black, and she's going to grow up in this world. And even now to this day, I try to prepare her the best I can for all the things that can happen. But to be at this place now where people just don't care. They just don't care. They can't see past their anger. That's the short-minded thought process, is when you can't see past your own 2 feet, right? And you can't see how you affect other people. I wanted to send a message to everybody to make them understand that none of this has to be this way. It's a process to fix it, but you have to be part of that process and that solution. And there's challenges, always challenges, in doing that. But if we meet those challenges doing the things like we did last night, like this nation did over the last few days, if we allow people to kill and get away with it, if we allow people to riot instead of peacefully assemble, if we take all the hate and confusion that we have and unload it on whoever is in the way, that's what's going to happen. Like I said, I am very composed at this point, but I am very disappointed. And I'm very hurt. I'm very scared for my child and for my family. We need to do better. We just need to do better. And for the people who are doing things and trying to make change, I appreciate you. And please help educate the people who are ignorant to that. Do not harbor hate. Do not harbor hate. I just walked around the city for a little bit to see what was going on. And I mean, I saw some of it yesterday, and I did not like what I saw. And I walked around now, and it's amazing to me that what people decided to do. Like, did George want that? No, I don't think so. I don't think, you know what? I don't think that George Floyd wanted to turn around and be, and not even just him, everyone in the past few weeks, like literally wanted to turn around and say, okay, meet it with violence. Meet it with destruction and anarchy. Like, I don't think you respect someone who died tragically by meeting it with more violence. And it's not the people you need to go after. It's not the people that own these businesses or stuff like that. And don't get me wrong. In all races, there are other people who don't even care, and they just push their agenda, and the weak followed. And that's just what happened. But it starts from the top. You know, we elect or we ignore to elect, and therefore we get what we get, and we get people who are in power who have no interest to protecting black people, no interest to protecting white people, no interest protecting anyone else but themselves, and put laws and rules in place that only benefit themselves, and then turn around and we do shit like this that they go, see, I told you. They're all like that. Do better. Do better for yourself. Do better for your family. Do better for other people who are out here trying to help. Businesses that are trying to thrive, to bring more business and to bring better things into your area. Do better for people who do not have the malice and hate in their heart that led to the death and the killing of George Floyd. Do better as a people to push out all this hate and unify us, at least for what it should be, which is one community and one love. That's what it should be. We are not going to get there any faster doing the things that we did. And when you see ignorant, hateful people taking peaceful demonstration and turning it into the riots and the chaos I saw last night, we got to do better. Anyone offended or upset, whatever it is, I'm not on here to try to debate with y'all. This is my thoughts. This is me, Jeff McBride. This is how I feel about it. This is me just displaying how I feel about it. Do better.